is number 13 Tennessee at number 14 Missouri, 3:30 p.m. on CBS. We kind of wanted to throw this in there because we're focusing a little bit on the playoff games, the ones that have the biggest implications of the playoff, but also we always want to talk about the games between ranked teams. And this is a really good SEC East game, man. I mean, this is really the battle for silver in the SEC East right now, with Georgia kind of being the top dog, especially after beating Missouri this past weekend. The next two best teams in the division, I would say, are Tennessee and Missouri. And again, not many college football playoff or even SEC championship stakes in this game. But I would also say the winner of this game has a pretty darn good chance of making a New Year's Six bowl game. So still some pretty big stakes when you take that into account.
No, totally, and it's actually especially for Tennessee because when you look at the way, tiebreakers and they still have Georgia in front of them
right
next week, Tennessee has the bigger stakes in this game because they actually could still make the SEC title game. Missouri's pretty much done with that unless it's some crazy whatever. No, I don't even think it's possible. Tennessee has bigger stakes in this game. These are two really, really good football teams. I can't wait to see Luther Burden versus Kamal Haddon. That's as good a matchup as there is all weekend.
Haddon's I hate to burst your bubble, but Haddon is done for the year, unfortunately, with the shoulder.
Oh, is he really? Oh,
yeah.
Oh well.
I know. I was excited for that too. I reminded myself. I was like, oh wait, I forgot about the shoulder injury. He's done for the year.
So, that's a shame. That would have been one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Well, that's a problem for Tennessee now, isn't it? Against the Missouri team. I'll be honest with you. I had the deep dive this weekend on Missouri, Georgia, and Missouri didn't play a bad football game. No. They really didn't. It's just, I said it. It was a travesty that they were a 15-point dog. They're better than that. But if you told me before the game that Georgia was 9 points better than Missouri, that sounds about right to me. Missouri did not at all play a bad football game. The only thing, the biggest thing that came out of that for me is that just Carson Beck doesn't put the ball in danger. If you're going to beat Georgia, you need to find a turnover or two. And it's so hard. Obviously, Stackhouse with the interception. Cook made a really, really bad throw on that one. But yeah, you do. You have to. Georgia, sometimes we've talked about their flaws, but you still have to play a darn near perfect game to beat them. Missouri wasn't perfect, but they didn't play a bad football game. Schrader was really good. Burton had the early touchdown. This is still a really darn good team. And honestly, I actually don't think they should have moved down, considering the two teams that moved ahead of them in that 12 spot that they had last week. They shouldn't even move down. Missouri is just wicked quality. The secondary was good. I think the two problems they had were just Georgia executes so well and they don't turn the ball over. And honestly, they kind of got beat with yards after the catch in the screen game. I think they didn't get beat over the top. We talked a lot about Chris Abrams' drain, breaking up a couple of passes. He was terrific on the outside. Missouri, I expect Missouri to play a really good game in this game because they should feel no shame the way they played last week. You have to, especially at Georgia, you have to play a perfect game to go in there and win.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah, so no Kamal Haddon against Luther Burden III. So that's one, elite matchup that we're not going to get, unfortunately. We are going to get another one, though, in James Pierce Jr. against maybe Javon Foster. That Missouri offensive line is honestly loaded across the board. Pierce, man, this season, 24.6% pass rush win rate, third in the country among edge defenders. Missouri, though, really solid protecting Brady Cook with an 17.6% pressure rate. That's 18th in the country. However, if Pierce can beat those tackles, and they have some good tackles there, especially Javon Foster, if he can, Brady Cook has just a 38.7 passing grade under pressure. That is 109th in the country. Brady Cook has had a renaissance season for him. He's been fantastic for Missouri, but when you get this guy under pressure, there are a lot of flaws, man. So I think James Pierce Jr., really, I think the biggest key for Tennessee in this game is make sure your best player, the true sophomore edge defender, James Pierce Jr., who I think could be a top 5 pick in next year's draft, as well as Luther Burden III. So if you're a fan of the 2025 NFL draft, we might have 2 top 5 picks, honestly, in this game. I think James Pierce Jr. is going to have a major role in deciding whether or not Tennessee can win this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Georgia did a nice job in big spots of blitzing. I think you do have to blitz Missouri, and you do have to find ways to get there because their pass protection, Javon Foster and those guys they're really good. And the times last week when he was clean, I told you he either took shots, he got the one big shot to Burden, and he got some shots downfield, or took off running. His mobility is better than it was earlier in the season. He's over the knee injury he had earlier in the year, but I like Missouri in this game. I like them at home. I like the balance with Schrader. Haddon being out might be the difference in the game, to be honest with you. I mean, you still look, these receivers are really good, and they still made some plays even against Georgia at Georgia, and that game was tight really till probably about the last 8 or 9 minutes. I like Missouri. I think Tennessee's offense, they run the ball well, but at times they're inconsistent. As long as Missouri pass protects and doesn't give up big shots to Milton, I like them. I'm going to take Missouri 34-27.
Love it. I'm taking Missouri 31-28. I do think Tennessee's run game is the key for Missouri's defense as well. They've really done a good job running the football this year, Tennessee has. So Missouri's run D has to step up as well. But I'm taking Missouri in this one 31-28. I think without Haddon, that's a big loss for that secondary, especially when you try and defend one of the 3 best receivers in college football right now. And I think they keep Pierce at bay just enough. And I think Missouri wins this game, and they keep their New Year's 6 dreams alive. So